Welcome back to Breakthrough Innovation, where we dive deep into the real stories behind the ideas, experiments, and leadership that shape the future. Today's guest brings a visionary approach to technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, merging cutting edge advancements with practical applications. I'm thrilled to welcome Kahlia Padilla, an entrepreneur, quantum physicist, and technology leader with a passion for developing impactful solutions. She is the co-founder and CEO of Imagine Engine Studios, a private space agency building the space commerce infrastructure. Kalia is also venturing into fintech and e-commerce in the metaverse. Her diverse portfolio includes not only technology-driven ventures, but also leadership in sustainability and space innovation. Kalia, welcome to Breakthrough Innovation. We're excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So maybe to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background? How'd you get to your current role?
Yes, well, I'm from Venezuela. I'm 20 years old. My background, it's very interesting. My parents are entrepreneurs. They founded our family company. I started to work with them at a very young age, at 12 years old, in very different roles, administrative roles, as an architect, designer. So that's inspired me to pursue my entrepreneurial career. At 14, I founded my first clothes brand called Aphrodita. Later on, I moved to the United States and I decided to venture in the technology sector when I met my co-founder. And that's when we decided to found Gala Goods, which is a virtual reality multi-seller e-commerce. So that's a little more about my background. So I was really very well inspired by my parents into pursuing entrepreneurship. And well, I came to the United States, and being here, I realized all the opportunities for entrepreneurs and scientists. So I decided to make my career into science and technology.
I'm trying to think about what I was doing when I was 14, and I'm pretty sure it had nothing to do with business. It was probably just getting me into trouble. So that's impressive. I think I'm always a little blown away by people who get such a young start and doing something that they love, which is interesting to me because you obviously have a background in science, studying quantum physics. And I'm curious, what was the transition like going from quantum physics to leading tech innovation? And what are the takeaways from scientific principles that you're applying to the entrepreneurial side of things that seem valuable to you?
Yes, actually, quantum physics is the most important science that we have to understand. It's basically comprehending the natural behaviors of everything, right? Of nature. So once we started to venture into the quantum physics and studying the theory, we started to realize that there is geometry and patterns in everything that we do that could be applied to better design solutions for technology. So it can comes all together. So we apply quantum physics in basically every single technology that we design in Imagination.
And when you came over to the tech innovation side, like scientific principles, in my mind, that goes back to you have your hypothesis, you test your hypothesis, I'm blanking on the word, Preston.
Scientific process? Yeah.
Scientific process. There we go. Yeah. Like that's what comes to mind to me. What other things kind of jump out? Like what really has helped you in your entrepreneurship from that science side?
I think while creating businesses is a scientific process. So it all starts with a research comprehending a market, understanding data. So you design a solution that actually could solve the problem, right? So it's all about science. And every time that once idea grows and every time that you try to find ways to scale your business, it's also science. So it has a research process and development process, and it takes also mathematics, even though you don't realize it, to actually scale your business. So it's all about science itself. So for us and for me, it was kind of easy to understand that and apply it to my ventures. So science, I started at 19 years old developing technologies in virtual reality, AI, fintech. I think I early realized the match that quantum physics and the impact that quantum physics has in technology. So that's why I started to pursue a scientific career in quantum physics as well.
I think just that framework of seeing the problem and then hypothesizing solutions, we might look at that and think, oh, yeah, that's really simple. But from a business world, I think JL and I often see the reverse. I think we see way too often solutions searching for problems
Yes, correct.
instead
Yes,
of like understanding the problem to really understand the solution. And I think that's a huge lesson learned from the scientific community is just focusing on understanding and researching what is the actual problem here so that we can come up with a good solution.
Yes, that's correct. So it's about all about the data analysis, and it doesn't mean that you cannot innovate and create solutions that might be for a problem that don't exist, but they are groundbreaking technologies. But anyways, there is that scientific process of researching and analyzing that gets the startups and the companies to actually be survive in the market and bring those solutions to the people.
So I know what you've been doing now that you're in the entrepreneurial space is creating this unified commerce experience in virtual reality. So I'm curious, maybe tell us a little bit more about what you've created, and then I'd love to hear about some of the challenges you're facing right now and what's kind of holding you up.
Yes, so in 2016, we founded, my co-founder and I, we co-founded Gala. And we started with that vision of being that multi-seller e-commerce in virtual reality, that immersive marketplace that all we were waiting for. So at the moment, it was very hard for us to pitch the project because none of these big companies like Meta has announced Metaverse. So it was really challenging for us to pitch to investors, even though that the public is expecting to have more immersive experience and engaging experience. It was really hard for us to find investors. So we started to develop more the technology in terms of how it should be architected to be efficient. And that was a challenge. As you could see, other companies are facing the same, trying to bring real high quality, high fidelity experiences into the metaverse. And that has been our challenge for the last 7 years. Right now, we are facing a challenge more on the logistics side of making the solution as easy to use as Amazon or eBay. And that's something that we are working on for our customers. But definitely that experience on working on a high-end tech product, such at early stage on the market, actually, I realized a lot of things that are needed for scientific and deep tech startups. And there's a lack of resources. So I decided to actually also create a comprehensive program to support those startups through our space agency.
That's cool. I know as I think through the virtual reality experiences I've had, most of them have struggled to really connect and like draw me in as a full experience. I'm curious, as you're talking to customers, how are you helping them, or how are you sifting through and getting the real feedback? I think it's a little different. If I go out and ask, how do you like this car? Right. That's a thing people can easily relate to. I think you have a challenge where when you talk to customers about virtual reality, there's a whole lot of baggage that comes with that term. How are you sifting through that and getting real feedback on these more futuristic solutions? And how is that affecting your approach?
Yes, so we changed our approach once we realized that was difficult to pitch to investors. So we decided to design a cross-platform solution that actually could get data, important data for designing the virtual reality side of the project. So we have been researching with all the current transactions and asking our customers ways that we could improve our platform, more immersive way that we could improve them. So it's basically users pitching us features that will be added to add the marketplace more immersive and scaling from that, from the user need. So we don't go and overdevelop a platform that nobody's going to use. So it's mostly about the needs of the user, what they are required, and the businesses that use the platform.
I think that's so critical. Just that word or the phrase that you said about not overdeveloping. That's also another problem we find. If you can even remember back to the day when we had desk phones that had like 100 different buttons on the desk phone, and like half of them weren't even labeled. So I had all of these buttons. I didn't know what they do. Some of them weren't labeled. All I really needed to use was the number pad. And yet I probably didn't even use it because I had my cell phone. So just all of these different features that had been added over the years to the point where it is not useful anymore. And I think particularly like Steve Jobs with Apple had some interesting perspectives on, if you want to add a feature, you got to take away two features. You got to take some stuff away in order to add to it.
Yes, correct. So that's what we're doing. So we are collecting a lot of data from users. For example, one of the most things that they ask is, of course, having 3D models. It's still immersive, let's say, but it's not a full experience. But we already see an increase of sales for products that already have 3D models that you could browse and understand how they look like. So all starts with that. So I think technology is very good, but sometimes we're not even ready to understand and use it. So we have been scaling it step by step, just by understanding what is the real need behind a virtual reality marketplace.
I'm just trying to imagine all these customer interactions. Like, what's the biggest surprise you've had from your customers, like in terms of feedback?
From the immersive side or from the use of the platform in general?
Either or.
Well, customer service is actually one. Being able to have real time customer service in any e-commerce platform, even immersive platform, it's very key for the success of these products. Especially when you deal with high volume transactions, customers, they want to know that they are attended and they are trusting you to have that infrastructure. This is a problem, a huge problem that we actually encountered in one of our tests back in Spain. And we had to design an AI solution, an inbound call center solution to actually being able to support our customers' calls in real time, because we were experimenting so many calls per day for deliveries that, and the huge amount of investment for a call center, it's just absurd. So we actually had to design a solution that could take our customers' calls in real time and that actually is sustainable at the same time and innovative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, too many customers is probably a good problem to have as well, on top of the call center.
If you're not ready to take them,
That's fair, yeah, if you're ready for them. So now
yes.
I'm curious. We've talked a lot about everything up to the present day. I want to shift a little bit and look into the future. What are you most excited about with this solution, and where do you see like the space tech, virtual reality going, and how will it impact our daily life?
Yes. So, well, I'm going to send you a photo of how the virtual reality looks like, the app looks like, because it's actually a desk in a spaceship that is floating on space and facing the Earth. So Gala is one of our solutions in Imagine Engine, and we, as a private space agency, are visualizing the future as space commerce evolves. So we are working actually in creating those frameworks where we are going to allow countries to send cargo from point A to point B. So from Florida to Japan to Uruguay, I don't know, as well. So we are building that, and for that we need a lot of technology and a lot of innovation. So we see that the future is getting on that industry. Okay, that's like the next big wave of innovation. It's going to be that. It's the next industrial revolution. Just imagine that before we didn't have airports and airplanes. Now we have thousands and millions airplanes and airports around the world. It's just the same, but now with the space. So that's what we're working. So we're working on building those high tech solutions that are going to be needed for the next step of commerce.
Love it.
Amazing.
That's a lot of fun. For our,
Being
lis-
a lot of
for our listeners, as we wrap up, what is the takeaway you want people to have here? What's the valuable, insight or information that you want to share?
Well, I want people to take my example. I'm from Venezuela. I'm only 20 years old. I'm a CEO of my own tech company, so it's not impossible. I just want people to understand that they have a power within them and that they're capable of actually creating these solutions and take the adventure to it. So I started very early, but I think that I was a rebel from the beginning. But I don't think that's it. I think what I want to people to understand is that there is a lot of opportunities for innovation and technology development right there, and that we need a lot of people to bring that future into the present moment.
Education has never been easier to get, and innovation and entrepreneurship, the barriers to entry are lower than they've ever been. So I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree
Yes,
more.
I know entrepreneurship is hard. There is a lot of pain and suffering behind it, but I think the rewards are so good. Just being an example of a good example of the things that can be done. I think I just want to be that for the people.
Love it. And I think you are. Now, before we wrap up, Where's the best place for our listeners to connect with you, collaborate with you?
I have LinkedIn, so you can find me with in my LinkedIn, Kahlia Padilla. And that's it. I don't have any other
Awesome.
social media.
Perfect. No, I think that works. Kalia, this has been a great conversation. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been inspirational. Like I said, I feel like I have to examine my own life choices from when I was 14 at this point, but otherwise, it's been amazing. So thank you so much for your time and your insights. For everyone else who's been listening all the way to the end, we want to thank you as well and encourage you to leave a rating or review before you head off. And then also don't forget to share Kalia's episode with anyone you think might benefit from her experience, her example, or who might be interested in Imagine Engine Studios. Sharing this, sharing the wealth, sharing the knowledge is a big part of why we do this. So don't leave that part out. All in all, thank you again. We'll see you all next time on Breakthrough Innovation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.